Hey guys, so today we are going to be making the miniature potion bottle necklaces. So for this, all depending on what you guys got, you guys could have dragon blood, gillyweed, unicorn blood, or you can even have wolfsbane, or the last one is the amaretta. But I'm only going to be showing you guys how to make the wolfbanes and the gillyweed, because those ones are going to be the more complicated one. So all depending what you got in your package, you guys should at least have some of these pipettes with paint in them, as well as if you're doing wolfsbane, you should definitely have this glow in the dark glue in it. You guys have some labels that you guys can put on your potions for later on, so you know which is which. For the gillyweed, you need some moss as well as this fake plant here. And in this little package right here, you guys should have three. Let's see if we can get it open. You guys should have 3 of these little bottles, as well as only 2 of these to make the necklaces, because 2 of them can be necklaces, and the third one can be like, you can switch it out, or it can just be a standalone. And then if we go even farther into our little package here, you guys should have this little bag, and make sure to kind of keep the charms in this bag if you can, because they're really small and you don't want to lose them, because this is important for the necklace. So you should have some of these pins that look like this right here, as well as a charm, all depending which one you are actually making. So to start off, I'm gonna start off with the wolfbanes first. To start off, I got my jar. I'm gonna remove the cork. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my little bag here. I don't wanna dump all of it out because I don't wanna leave some things behind. But I'm gonna take my wolf charm out so I can have it for later on. I'm gonna take one of these small, very, very tiny rings. Keep that for later on as well, because that's going to be a big help. And then I'm also going to take, if I can get it anyway, I'm going to use this tiny screw here. It has a little hook. It looks like it's a tiny little screw right here. Alright guys, so for our wolfsbane here, we got this cork off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this screw right here, and I'm going to screw it into the top of the cork. Now, if you can ask your parents to do this part for you, or if you feel like you can do it yourself, it's nice to have a pair of pliers. That way you can use the pair of pliers. You can pick them up with these, because these are really, really tiny. And you can kind of apply pressure, and you can screw these into the top of your cork. So that way it's like this, and the top is all set. So next thing we are going to do for the wolfsbane, anyway, I'm gonna remove that, because our wolfsbane, you should have the blue paint, glow in the dark fabric paint in the wolf charm. So your wolf charm, unfortunately, will not be able to fit in your jar, so we're gonna have to just put it on the outside. So that's gonna stay on the outside. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually take our glow in the dark paint, or glow in the dark glue right here, and we're gonna squirt it in and try to get it to about 1/3 of the way up your bottle. So let's go ahead and do that first. All right, just a little bit more. All right, so that's about 1/3 for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my blue paint. Now, if your paint is really dried in here, if you can somehow get some water into your pipette, you can definitely use water to get into your pipette, just to make it wet again, and it'll make it easier. I'm gonna take the tape off the end, and doing this, squeezing this part is not gonna help. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna squeeze the tube right here, and I'm just going to squeeze it down to get as much paint as possible to go down into my wolfsbane. Alright, so I have some blue in there now. I'm going to go ahead, mix my blue up in with that glow in the dark paint, get it that nice color there. And if you had trouble just getting any of the paint out of your dropper, you could always put water in it, or you can always try to cut the pipette open to get any of the wet paint that might be in the pipette itself. But you really want to try to mix as much as the blue in there as possible, because you don't want any of the white like there is at the bottom left. All right, and the blue is all mixed in for me. So for the Wolfsbane, we're not going to be adding anything else inside, just because, like I said, unfortunately our charm is not going to fit in there. So what you can do to fill it up is you can use more glue. You can use more of this glow-in-the-dark glue to fill it up, but you have to mix in the blue with it. Or if you want to try it as well, you can also try using some clean Elmer glue if you have any of that to fill it up as well, and that one might be easier to mix in together. So I'm going to do more of this clear one right here, and I'm going to fill up the rest of my jar. Alright, so I filled up the rest of my jar. I got a cool little effect with some of that blue at the bottom and a lot of clear at the top. I like the way it looks, but that's just me. But again, if you want it to be more blue, you can always go back in with your toothpick and you can mix it around even more to get some more blue into the top of your jar as well. So it can look a little bit more like this. Alright, and then once you're done, the next part we are going to do is we're going to actually take our cork, we're going to stick it inside, nice and fit in there, and with the hot glue. And then we're going to use a hot glue gun because we want to make sure that cork stays in there and it's never going to come back out. I'm going to use a hot glue gun just to go around the edges here. And once that dries, then this will be all set, and we'll have the necklace part ready for it by then. But for now, this does need to dry to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side. So once you guys have your stuff dried, comes the next hard part, which is putting your necklaces through these holes right here, as well as adding your charms to them. So for us here, the charms may not fit through these initial holes. So if they can't fit through the initial holes, try to find some way you can just stick it on top. You can hot glue it up here in the back if it has a charm. And then for these holes right here, we are going to take our rings right here. It's going to be a little bit big, and this is a part where you might need 2 pliers to do so, or ask a parent if they have 2 pliers who can help you do this part. So these small rings, you gotta hold them together and then you gotta pull them apart, not too hard because you don't want to lose it. You're gonna slip it through. You're gonna slip it through the hole at the top here. Got it. And then if you also want to, with your charm, you can also slip your charm into here, or if you feel like your charm's not gonna fit along with the old necklace, you can just glue it on top. After you do that, you're gonna go ahead and close the small ring so that way it won't slip out. And then once you close it, you can thread this. Once you close it, you can thread this through the top right here. And once you thread it through the top, I don't have it on here. Like I said, you'll have it through and you will have your necklace with its charms on it or on the cork. And then finally, you can take tape and you can take the cutout part of the wolfsbane or gillyweed or whichever one you have, and you can go ahead and tape it onto your jar. So I'm going to cut mine out. I'm going to use my tape. I'm going to tape it right here. And you don't have to use tape. You can use tape, glue, or anything like that. And I'm going to tape it onto my jar. And now I have made a potion of wolfsbane or gillyweed or any of the other ones you have. So thanks for joining us.